WGNS, AM, FM, and online.
We're broadcasting from the Middle Tennessee Electric Studios.
Visit mte.com.
Middle Tennessee Electric, serving to make life better since 1936.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Talking with Rutherford County newsmakers
since 1947.
This is a WGNS Action Line. Now, your host, Scott Walker.
In studio with us right now from the Rutherford County Agriculture Extension Service is Justin Stefanski. How are you?
Good morning, sir. Good to be here as always.
What's new?
Well, it's hot.
It is.
We've had some rain, which is good. Typically at this time of year, it's crispy. So fingers crossed we keep getting rain.
What gets me when I walk outside, I will see the temperature is like 85 to 89 or so.
Right.
But then when you get outside, that heat index makes it feel like 1,000,000 degrees and you're sweating.
It's not
like
fun.
No.
I was in Colorado last week and the temperatures were anywhere between 95 and 98. And I felt great.
Well,
there was no, I
like
don't think I broke
heat.
a sweat once, and everybody was complaining, oh, it's so hot. I said, come to Tennessee in July.
Yeah.
You don't know what hot is.
It's such a difference.
Totally different.
It's why I was in the Mojave Desert, I guess about 2 years ago, and it was during the summer. Great time to go there.
Right.
It was like 100. I think it was the year. I think a couple of years ago, it was like that record heat of like 115 to 120.
Can't even imagine.
It was crazy hot, but yet at the same time, it was like a dry hot.
Right.
It wasn't that humidity that you're pouring down sweat here.
Right. It'll take your breath away, but it's not just going to make you miserable.
Yeah. It was rough. I remember that same year they had, there's a military base there where they do all this training before they ship troops overseas and stuff. And they've got a whole town that's set up to look like a town in the Middle East.
Right.
And that's where they do their training. Man, they had, I think it was 100 and something casualties that day due to the heat exhaustion, the heat, everything you get involving heat.
Right.
But they were flying patients to hospitals in Las Vegas, hospitals in Los Angeles. It was crazy.
With all that gear on and those heavy BDUs, I bet that's unpleasant.
I would not enjoy that.
Absolutely not.
Anyway, glad we're here.
Absolutely. It's good to be here in this inside air conditioning.
And you guys have something new this year, and it's called on, and that's the farmers market in the evening hours on Tuesday.
Yeah, so we've had, on and off, we've had Tuesday evening markets. I will tell you this, the entire month of August, every Tuesday, the market will be an evening market from 2 to 7. And it's been a great hit. I think that the public has responded great. And for a lot of folks, that's when they're able to come.
Yeah.
We have the morning market still on Fridays. It's from 7 to noon. And for some people that works great, but for the rest of us that work for a living, that 2 to 7 market is the sweet spot. So every time I've been by there, the parking lot's been full and people are happy, smiling, going out with watermelons and corn and God knows what else.
So on Tuesdays in August, it's going to be every Tuesday afternoon starting at 2.
Yep, 2 to 7 Tuesdays in August.
That's a cool idea, and to be able to do that, to kind of diversify the times, I think I can see where that would really help out a lot of people.
Yeah, it's been great.
I don't know if you remember years ago in Murfreesboro and Smyrna, Laverne, and nearby Lebanon, Mount Juliet, there was just kind of a time where everybody went to work at 8, came home between 4 and 5, and that was it, or either 5 and 6.
The glory days.
Nowadays, the hours people work is literally all over the map. I mean, you've got some factories even that let out at 12 noon. And it's just very...
Which means traffic is bad at all times.
That's right. That's what that did. But I can notice whenever school's out, there is less traffic going home, coming to work. It
only took me 30 minutes to get here today as opposed to the normal 52. I live out in Rockville, and there's no easy way to get here.
No.
And 99 right now is an absolute nightmare. I don't recommend driving on it.
It's been under construction for years.
It's been a while. Yeah, and with Veterans Parkway being closed, it's a fun time.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, real good time. But no, I love it when school's out.
Yeah, I do too. It does make it a lot easier.
Yeah, it does.
So with Highway 99, I know that's a state road. But the Veterans Parkway, that's of course, I guess, a city road. So what all are they? Do you know what they're doing on there?
So they are elevating the new lanes on Highway 99. So I drove by this morning, and they're probably 4 feet above the grade of where the road used to be.
Wow.
So it'd be one heck of a bump if you were
Yeah.
coming off Veterans Parkway from one end to the other. So it'll be interesting to see how they get all that finished up by July 31.
Yeah.
That's going to be a serious engineering feat.
So when you look at it, are they going to have to make like an incline, a hill going
They'd have
up to?
Honestly, they'd have to. I don't know what the plan is. Those guys are going to work their magic, I hope.
I wonder why they're doing that.
I don't know. It's interesting.
It is interesting.
And then I'm assuming they're going to have to match the grade on the lanes that are open now are, 4 foot below as well.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a lot of engineering that takes place in the next 2 weeks.
I do know as you cross, Highway 99, going down Veterans, as you cross over 99, there's always this real big dip
Right.
that you'd hit.
Not anymore, there won't be. You're going to catch
It's not
air.
going to be an
if you-
incline. Yeah.
If you hit it at the right speed.
It's a ramp.
Yeah, you're going airborne for sure. Maybe that's the goal.
Have some fun competitions
A
out
little
there.
excitement to your morning commute,
Years ago on Halls Hill Pike, there was always this one section on Halls Hill Pike where it was almost like a jump if you're going
Oh, yeah.
fast
I know
enough.
exactly what you're talking about.
And as stupid teenagers, when there was a lot less traffic back then, we would get up as much speed as we could just
Yep.
to see if we could get airborne there. And
Did you ever do it?
We did.
Nice.
And then it was the same situation for the railroad tracks right there going off of Broad Street into the area of where the national park is, the
Right.
battlefield. That road's not there anymore, but it was the same deal. As kids, we would see how fast we could go and jump over the tracks. And
As you should as a kid, right?
was-
Don't listen to that, kids.
don't listen to that. But
things were different back then.
they were, and we managed to really do good at that one
Oh, I bet.
because that one was a lot steeper. But when you land on a
That's
car,
a hard bump, isn't it?
It is. Yeah,
A lot of
it's
sparks
painful.
flying, a little bit of bumper damage, but it's worth
Yeah.
it.
Parents are like, "What happened to my car?"
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
I have no idea.
Hit a bump.
Yeah.
Not my fault.
That road really jumped up and got me.
It's probably while you were driving, not me.
That's right.
The things we do as kids.
Oh, yeah. Good times.
But
Good
man,
times.
when the population was a lot less as kids, it did make things easier.
Yes. The glory days of Murfreesboro.
It's when you could get pulled over, and at most they would call your parents.
Right. Right.
Your son's out driving a little crazy today.
If you pulled that move today, you'd end up in the big brick building over there on New Salem.
You would. Yeah. It's fun looking back and how things have changed over the years.
Right.
Because I still remember when they were building 840 and all
Yep.
that land they had to acquire,
Oh, yeah.
the right of ways and everything. It was a big project.
It was. I remember my dad broke down on 840. It was when it first opened, and it was in the evening. And of course, this was pre-cell phone, so
And there's no cars on it back then.
no cars. I mean, he said he sat there for like 2 hours and never saw a car. And think about that. A time before cell phones.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just such a primitive thought nowadays. Just sit there on the side of the road.
It is. I didn't get my first cell phone until I was maybe 21, 22. Maybe even 23. I don't remember. It was
How
a long
did you
time ago.
ever live before that? Just fine, didn't you?
It was actually a lot better.
I know. I forgot my phone recently. It was maybe about a year ago. I went to Lowe's on a Saturday, and I realized halfway there I didn't have my cell phone, and I haven't felt that liberated since.
I was going to say,
Nobody knew where I was, and I didn't know where anybody else was, and I thought, boy, if something happens, I'm going to have to stick my thumb out and just
Yeah.
hope for the best,
it feels good though.
It felt great.
The days you accidentally leave your phone
Oh,
at
man.
home or something, it's like, wow, there's this relief over me.
Yes.
Because people, they contact you 24/7, it seems like.
24/7.
And people don't care anymore. They don't
don't.
respect time. They don't respect time of day. And I'm not trying to be mean, but at points of time, like, 5, 6, 7 o'clock at night, you're probably eating dinner. Don't call, don't text.
Listen, I've gotten many a gardening question after 10 p.m. And, you make this mistake of giving out your cell phone number, which I don't typically do. But every
Yeah.
now and then I open my heart and say, here's my cell phone number, and instantly regret it.
Yeah. And telemarketers, I remember they used to call the home phone when I was a kid years
Right.
ago, and I used to take pleasure in answering it. But these days, the amount of times they call on my cell phone is ridiculous.
It's like, who is selling us out,
I bet I've got at least 30 calls from yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
That are just, and every single one says, whatever the message pops up, it says, what is it? telemark. I don't know if it says telemark. I forgot what it said, but it every single one says what it is.
Right.
Not a hoax, but a
potential spam call is what
something
my
like
phone
that.
tells me.
A spam caller or something. There's so many of them.
It's crazy, isn't it?
I don't get it. And the same person or the same AI person will call, 10 times in a row from different numbers, and it's always the same type of thing. You are approved for a home loan, stuff like that. I'm like,
my favorite is the IRS one. About taxes. Have you gotten that one?
Is that the fake one?
The fake
where
one.
They're trying to get money from you?
Yeah, they're saying there was an error with your filing, and
Yes,
I'm like, I just don't think that's accurate.
Yeah,
I've already received my return and spent it all, so I don't think there was any errors.
Yeah, I don't think that's true, buddy. IRS doesn't typically call you or text you.
They sure don't.
If they did, maybe that'd make things easier. I don't know.
Maybe it would.
As long as you pay your taxes each year on time, I think you're good, or you receive your tax check refund on time. And
I figure if they send you your money, you're in the clear, right?
That's right. The better years are definitely the ones where you get a refund.
Yes.
But at the same time, the years that you don't get a refund, those are probably the years where you properly set your paycheck to where you get the right amount. You get a little bit more each month.
Right.
So I don't know what's better. I don't know if
I like getting money back.
It's kind of like a savings account.
Yeah, I claim one every year, and I'm like, you know what? I know I'm not getting as much every month, but I sure love that check every spring.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, just depending on what you want to do, because it does help if you like going on a vacation in the summer. This check will come at the perfect time.
Absolutely.
And now they're like direct deposited. You get it quicker.
It's nice.
It is. Back to agriculture and agriculture extension. So if anybody has any questions regarding lawns, gardens, text those to us right now at 615-893-1450. I know a question we had as we were wrapping up the last show that we did on the extension service was about growing potatoes. And I thought to myself, I've had a garden for multiple years. I don't right now. But in the past, I had a garden for multiple years, and that's the one thing we never tried to grow either were potatoes.
Potatoes are a little bit finicky. They do really well in raised beds because they need soft soil. And if you've ever dug a hole here in Rutherford County, you know that unless you're just in a river bottom spot and are blessed with good soil, there's not a whole lot of soft ground. It's pretty hard clay. So when those potatoes start to grow, of course, they're a root vegetable, so they need space underground that's soft soil. So they can be grown in buckets, they can be grown in raised beds, they can be grown, and they sell these like grow bags now. And they're like a felt type material. But you probably need about at least 2 foot of depth. Does really well for them. Now you can grow potatoes here, they do great, but again, if you just try to plant them in the ground, unless you've got just perfect soil conditions, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge.
So with the potato grow bags, are they about 2 feet deep?
Usually about 2 foot deep and maybe 2 foot across.
So you literally dig a hole in
you don't
your
even
garden.
put it in the ground. No,
really?
You literally just fill it with dirt, and it's got 2 handles on it. It's like a big bucket, basically.
And they'll grow big.
And they'll grow, absolutely.
Man.
And they store easy. At the end of the season, you can empty the dirt out, and you can fold them up, put them in the garage. So it is convenient if you're limited on space and storage.
I used to always be amazed at McAllister's, their giant potato. You'd get get chips on it or whatever you want to do.
Yep.
The Mexican style, the steak style, the chicken style, whatever route you want to take. And I was always amazed about how big it was, right? Until one of my kids worked there over the summer, because every kid has to have a summer job at either a fast food restaurant or a restaurant in general.
It's a rite of passage.
It's a requirement. And they worked there, and then they told me the sad news.
No more big potatoes?
No, there were 2 potatoes. To make it look bigger.
Oh, man.
Like, come on, don't tell me that.
It's heartbreaking.
That's magic. Don't tell me the magic.
Takes away the secrets.
It does. So anyway, growing potatoes, you can grow, because some of them do get pretty big. You can grow pretty big potatoes at home, and the finicky part of it, that's what I would worry about. I'd go out there and buy potatoes to grow, and then nothing would happen, and that would be my luck. But once you get it down, is it pretty easy?
Well, nothing is necessarily pretty easy in Tennessee for gardening, just because we have a lot of disease and insect pressure. A lot of times that will really diminish the productivity of the crop. So if you get a fungal disease like early blight or late blight, which is brought on by, kind of a damp, humid type weather, which we have a lot of times. You'll set potatoes out a little earlier than most of your other vegetables. So when they're in full foliage, those spring and early summer diseases are at their peak. And then there's this bug called Colorado potato beetle. Now, entomologists do not get creative a lot of times with these names of bugs, right?
Yeah, that doesn't sound very exciting.
It was probably in Colorado, and it was probably on a potato. We're going to call it Colorado potato beetle. So there's a lot of those guys out there.
Tater beetle.
Yeah. So, there are some challenges. But, if you grow them 2 or 3 years in a row, you will get the hang of it.
So are the regular large, potatoes, typical potatoes, are those easier to grow than those little new potatoes?
I would say they're a little bit more challenging.
Oh.
Just to get them to fill out to that size that McAllister standard size.
Yeah.
It's hard to get them that big unless, again, even in a raised bed, you've got to have just the right conditions. But those little potatoes, they're much easier to grow, and you'll get a lot more of them. And I actually like those ones. They're
good.
Delicious. You can
Butter
cut
on
them
them.
up, bake them, pan fry. I mean, just absolutely delicious.
Yeah, I agree. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to text us, 615-893-1450. And I thought, the next garden I do, I'm going to do a raised bed.
Yeah.
I've never done that before, but it just seems...
It's the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah.
You heard it right here, right now. It's the way to go.
Breaking news.
That's right. Less weed issues to deal with, a whole lot less challenges with the native clay soil. It's a lot more manageable.
You could literally buy your own soil, mix it in with what you have.
Now it's a little bit expensive. Dirt is not cheap anymore.
No.
It especially if you buy it in bags from one of the big box stores. It can cost quite a bit. If you got a 4x8 raised bed, you're going to need 20 bags of soil at least. And that stuff's not cheap. Now you can buy soil in bulk, which is great. You can go to one of the garden centers and get it in bulk if you have a pickup truck. But in terms of the ease of gardening and the productivity of a raised bed, there's really no comparison.
So when you buy the soil, if you buy the bags of that black soil, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
If you went that route with only those bags, would that be better, or should you buy a little of that and a little regular old dirt?
Well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So here's my blend, right? So I will use 30% compost, which is probably that black soil that we're familiar with. There's a brand called Black Cow out there, and it's just beautiful stuff. And then there is a product called peat moss. Peat moss comes in a compressed, sealed, vacuum-sealed cube.
Is it literally peat moss?
It's peat moss. It's light and fluffy. I'll mix in maybe 25% peat moss, and then I'll buy topsoil in bags and finish off, 30 to 40% of that. So I do a nice blend. If you just use that real dark, rich soil, a lot of times it's almost too rich, and the plants get real leggy. It has so much nutrition in it that those plants just use it all up, and then they get leggy, means they get very long and spindly versus short and productive from a fruiting perspective. So having that blend in there is really going to help with the soil texture and minimize just the immediate effect of the nutrients in the soil.
So it's really that important to pay attention to what kind of soil you're mixing together.
Absolutely.
For that raised bed. I figured it was.
Yeah, soil is so key, getting it right.
I definitely... I want to try it again, because what we always did was the same thing. We had this little area in the backyard. We would till it every year, and it was 20 foot by maybe 30 foot. I mean, it's a
good
pretty
sized
big
garden.
area.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
It was, and we would plant stuff each year, and every year great cucumbers, squash, tomato, all that stuff.
Right.
It was good, but there's certain things that we didn't try, like potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes are a challenge. And, the other things here that are really hard to grow is like a watermelon and a cantaloupe.
We never tried watermelon or cantaloupe.
You're better off for it. Publix and Kroger do a great job.
So it's that hard. And so when you go to the Tennessee Agriculture Fair each year, you have the watermelon growing contest.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes into that.
Oh, man. You should marvel at the size of those things.
It doesn't happen by luck.
It doesn't. Absolutely not. Yeah,
we've grown pumpkins before. That wasn't that difficult.
Pumpkins can be difficult. You must have had a green thumb on pumpkins, just because they take so long to mature. And, of course, they get a lot of disease pressure. But they can be done. I have a pumpkin right now at home. We're growing out for my son, and it's about the size of a cantaloupe. Yeah. And I'm just crossing my fingers that thing just keeps, because, God forbid, if that thing clunks out, we're going to have a cranky 4-year-old on our hands.
Well, tomatoes are another one where if they grow correctly, you're going to have great tomatoes. Oh, yeah. But if, diseases or insects, they love tomatoes. Apparently.
They do. Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of disease pressure. We're starting to see it now with this, the cloudy, humid weather, kind of those damp conditions. That's the perfect breeding ground for a lot of these fungal diseases. But overall, though, I think this gardening season has been far better than the previous seasons, just because we haven't had that brutally hot, dry stretch like we had last year, the summer before. I mean, we went weeks without rain, 90-degree temperatures, so we can handle some of the rain if it's milder temperatures. And our tomatoes, we have a demonstration garden at the office there at Lane Agri Park. I encourage you guys to come out and see it, visit it. They are absolutely so loaded down that they are actually pulling the trellis down. Wow. That we have them on. That's how full they are of fruit right now.
You know, there's a question that I thought to myself, next time Justin's on, I'm going to ask him this, you know. And it was a video I saw on social media, and it was about, I mean, it really focused in depth on these companies who sell to grocery stores, and a lot of them were, the video I saw was talking about how the lettuce was washed in a mixture of chlorine and something that was pretty much the equivalent of Drano, all
nice.
These chemicals. And after they got finished washing it all and putting it in the package, it looked perfect,
right?
Nice and green. But it made me think, is there some element of truth to that? Do these big companies, do they wash
They
and
will
chlorinate?
wash it. They can chlorinate it. And what that ensures is that there will be no fungal spores in the bag. So by the time it gets to the consumer, you know, if there are any fungal spores in there whatsoever, they're going to just go to fruiting, and then you're going to get moldy lettuce, basically. Yeah. Now, to the extent of what chemicals and how potent, you know, I don't know the exact ingredients, but even if it says fresh and washed and ready to eat, I will wash them every time. Well, I know too much.
It made me wonder, how much Drano am I taking in each year with this lettuce we buy?
I've never heard that, but that's nuts. You know, that must be a potent cocktail that they're using there.
I mean, in Drano, I guess there's chlorine, there's bleach, there's a little bit of everything.
Right.
But when you think about it, are you able to truly wash off some of it? Because, you know, plants absorb.
Right.
So what amount are they actually absorbing? And is this dangerous to eat some of this stuff?
You know, I think the USDA has done a very good job of making sure that our food is safe to eat, and you know, they're not going to be able to put something out there to the consumer that's going to cause any detrimental side effects. Now, it happens from time to time. Of course, we've got this whole thing going on up in the Midwest. The word we'll not use here on live radio. But you can imagine it's unpleasant, right? But it happens. Things like that happen. So I think a lot of these treatments are helping to minimize the occurrence of these outbreaks of harmful pathogens. So even though, I agree with you 100%, you're never going to get all of the residue off. But the threshold for will it harm us? Again, USDA does a great job of testing. It's very thorough. But again, I'm washing everything. You know?
These pathogens, like we're seeing in the CDC reports, at first, it was really a focus on berries.
Right.
But now, is it also on things like lettuce?
It seems to be spreading, and I think that what happens is a lot of these vegetables are packed in the same warehouses. So these growers are wholesaling, shipping them into packing warehouses where they're washed in the same machinery, packaged on the same equipment. And if you have a tainted batch of produce, there's a huge potential there for cross-contamination. And I think that's what we're seeing. You know,
it was that story in particular over the last 20 days that made my wife say, we need to do a garden.
Yeah.
You know, there's something safe about the idea of growing it yourself, knowing what you're putting on it, knowing what chemicals you use, if any. It is a safety factor that does make you feel a little more at peace.
Absolutely. I know when I pull a vegetable out of either the garden we have there at the office or at my home garden there, it just makes me happy to know. I know exactly from seed to fruit what this vegetable plant has encountered. I started the seeds myself. I watched these baby plants grow. I put them in the garden. And it's a very satisfying thing to know from start to finish what those plants have encountered, what they've been treated with or not treated with, really, in most cases. And it does give you that ease of mind for sure.
I've never used any type of a spray at all, not even weed killer in the garden. I mean, even in the off season, I wouldn't touch it with anything.
Right.
And that, just knowing that does make you feel a little healthier.
Right. Absolutely.
We had a question here about a raised bed garden, and I never thought about this before, but they said that they were going to buy old railroad ties from Co-op, because you can still get them there at times, and they were going to use that to build around where they put their raised bed garden. But it says that their fear is Well, the reason why they're no longer using those is the chemical that those are in. It's a mixture of tar and some type of cancer-causing agent. Would I need to worry about this seeping into my soil and thus the actual garden and things I'm growing?
So they're probably referring to creosote, which is one of those chemicals that they used to treat them with, and that stuff was potent. Now, it depends on the age of these railroad ties. A lot of them now are treated with a sulfur copper solution, so it's non-leaching, non-toxic to people. But again, how do you know the age of those railroad ties? So I certainly have seen them used as raised beds. I'll be honest with you, I would be still a little bit cautious in using those for raised bed materials because you just don't know. You never know the age of those things. Now, technically speaking, all of those bad, harmful chemicals, they're not supposed to use them anymore. But again, you don't know the age of those things.
I would say line the whole thing in plastic, but the problem with that is every time it rains, whatever's on the top of those railroad ties, it's going to go right into your garden no matter what.
Right, exactly.
So I guess I would avoid it.
Yeah. If you can avoid using them for vegetable production, I would.
We have used railroad ties ourselves for things like landscaping, around the backyard.
Great.
Yeah, they're great at holding
walls.
back gravel.
Oh, yeah.
It's wonderful for that. But beyond that, I would worry.
Be a little careful with it. Yep.
Let's see if we have anything else here. And this is a time of what grows best this time of year?
All of your traditional summer vegetable crops. So some of the things we've talked about, tomatoes, of course, watermelon, squash is still producing. Green beans, my goodness gracious. If you grow green beans, they're absolutely at their peak right now. You'll be picking them by the bucket full. Cucumbers are still doing really well. Okra is starting to come into season. It takes a little longer to ripen, but once it gets to going, you can't give it all away. So it does well. Of course, sweet corn right now. Our sweet corn at the office is just hitting its peak, so it's coming into fruit. So all of those classic summer vegetables, and of course herbs right now. We have herbs in the garden there that are absolutely spectacular, those leafy things. So they're all doing great.
We made the mistake of, it was Jordanian mint that we tried to grow. And it wasn't a matter of trying to grow. It was a matter of it literally taking over.
You're probably still growing it to this day.
It's like kudzu, man.
Yeah, mint is the gift that keeps on giving for years to come.
Yeah, it smells good as you walk outside.
It smells great, but anything in that mint family, just know it is going to grow and grow and grow, and it's going to keep growing until
all of it.
Until the end of time.
Huh? Are there some vegetables that do that?
Like things that are, let's say cherry tomatoes, for example. If you ever grown a cherry tomato and some of those things hit the ground, they will reseed prolifically.
Really?
A lot of tomatoes can do that, but it seems like cherry tomatoes in particular, you'll have them forever.
Another question here is watering every day helping or hurting our lawn? So that's not really garden related, but the lawn.
It can hurt the lawn. So typically what we recommend, even during hot, dry weather, is less frequent, longer duration waterings. And the reason being is you want that water to slowly permeate down into the soil structure, and you want it to be a high enough volume where that water goes down several inches, right?
Yeah.
A lot of times when people water daily, they're not watering for very long, and the only layer of that soil that gets wet is maybe that top inch layer. So you're promoting a lot of root growth at the very surface. Now, the first day you miss a watering, those roots are going to dry out and desiccate real quickly. So maybe 2 or 3 times a week for 20 minutes is perfect.
I tell you what, I made the mistake recently over the last 2.5 years or 2 years or so. Bought a house in an HOA neighborhood, right? And I will never, ever do that again because the house we had, of course, all of our kids moved out. They're all in their 20s now.
Right.
So it was just us. So bought a new house, sold our longtime house where we used to have the garden and everything, and bought a house in an HOA. Can't stand the HOA. But I won't say the name of the management company, but they are not great. Anyway. Moving on, what I was getting at is they have part of the thing built into what you're paying for with the HOA. They have all the landscaping around your house and the whole neighborhood.
Right.
It's got the little sprinkler system and everything. But and I noticed, and one of the reasons I bought this one was because my son bought a house there, and so that way we can have the grandkids,
nice.
And watch them whenever. It made it a lot easier. But it's got this irrigation system for making sure your landscaping and your lawn is always perfect and
green, right?
Well, some of those little irrigation sprays that come up, they don't work.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, the HOA that we pay way too much for, they haven't done a thing about it. And it's been like that for almost the whole summer. So you got some lawns where it works, and those are perfectly green. Then the lawn right next door is like brown.
Toast.
Yeah. So when it comes to watering, you can literally see the real life impact of it.
And it's probably that you guys have fescue grass. So fescue grass in the summer here in Tennessee, if you don't have irrigation, you're going to have dust. It's a cool season grass, so fescue loves cooler weather, moist conditions, and it will absolutely fry up in the summertime for sure.
Yeah. So you got to have the water then.
I've said this and I'll say it again. Anybody that voluntarily agrees to be on an HOA board, there's something wrong with those people.
Man, there's something wrong with an HOA. we don't even have a board yet,
Oh, gosh. Just wait till that happens.
I know. Because the problem is, when these neighborhoods are built, it may be 10 years before they put in the last shrub.
Right.
And so the developer is legally the head of the board for all those years. And I talked to a real estate agent about it one time because I was fed up with my HOA that I just moved into. He said to me, there's one neighborhood here in Murfreesboro where the developer's still over the HOA, and that neighborhood was built 30 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
But there was one factor that the city had a problem with as far as the landscaping out front, and the builder refused to go along with doing it because it would have cost him an extra $100,000 or something. Mm-hmm. And his option, the builder's option, it looked fine. It looked good when you drove in, but the city wanted it a certain way. Anyway, he didn't do it. And so therefore, that developer is still over that board.
Gosh.
30 years later.
What a headache for the developer.
It would be.
He should have just put that $100,000 on the table and walked away at the time, right?
Heck yeah. Give it to me. We got to take a short break, and then we'll be right back to take your lawn or garden questions. 615-893-1450. It's 8:50. Again, we'll be right back.
Hi, this is Tina Fox at the Rutherford Farmers Co-op. Please come and see us for all your garden needs. We have everything you need to help that garden grow. And we also have what you need for landscaping and your lawns. We have black and brown mulch in bulk. Please come see us. And as always, don't forget us for all your gift, clothing, and pet needs. This is Tina Fox. Your Co-op Farm and Home Center is located at 985 Middle Tennessee Boulevard, just off of South Church.
Hi, this is Dan with Music World and Drummer's Den. Our prices are as good or better than the box stores. I don't think you'll do better by shopping online than you would by coming in. Something new we've just added to our repertoire is drum repairs. You can have drums cut, covered, rewrapped, new hardware. We will fix them, make them look like new again. I'd like to thank you for coming by to see us again at 2762 South Church, right across from the golf course. Music World and Drummer's Den. Thank you very much for being our customers.
When I eat healthy, I can eat at Demas's. When I want to eat unhealthy, I can eat at Demas's. If I'm in the mood for pasta, I go to Demas's. If I want steak, I go there. It does not matter what I'm in the mood for. This is Peter Demas. The only thing we don't have is fried food. So it's very easy when you want to take a group out and there's that veto power person who's like, I don't want this. Well, we usually will have something that they want because we have such variety on our menu. The only thing we don't have is fried food. Demas's Restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
FM 1019, FM 100.5, WGNSradio.com. The Good Neighbor Network.
You're tuned to WGNS. Justin Stefanski is here with us from the Rutherford County Agriculture Extension Service. I was telling him a horror story off the air. My HOA. Maybe I'll share it with the world one day. Well, I definitely will share it with the world one day. As soon as we sell that house, after we're ready to move, because it's that irritating.
Crazy.
And it really is an irritant more than anything.
My first home we bought in a neighborhood here in Rutherford County, and it has had an HOA.
Yeah.
And of course, my landscaping was immaculate, and I like to practice native plant landscaping and just make it look more naturalistic.
Sure.
And my landscape took more effort than every other landscape in that neighborhood, which is 3 boxwoods and a knockout rose, right? That's no effort whatsoever.
Yeah.
Mine was, oh man, countless hours, weeks, days. And I get a very nasty letter at the time that I lived there from the HOA board saying, your yard is unkept and unmanaged. And I wrote them a letter back. and I said, let me tell you exactly what you're looking at here. And I said, and I never do this. I never drop what I do for a living because no one cares. I said, well, I'm an extension agent for UT and yada, yada, yada. And I said, I can tell you everything that's in here, and it took a whole lot more work than anybody else's yard. I never heard another word from them. But, it's just so frustrating.
It is. And there's these little small things that happen in life that really are small when you look at it. But yet, when you factor in, hey, I bought this house. It's my house, and somebody's trying to tell me what to do, I'll show you.
God forbid you put an echinacea in or a black-eyed Susan. Don't do it. It's just not the norm, right?
Don't stain your driveway. But it's those little things that really do kind of ramp you up and make you want to write a letter.
I'm still bitter about it 16 years later.
Yeah, I'm still bitter about my HOA, but that's going to be another day. I'm going to save that one. I had a question here. Why do some hydrangeas bloom beautifully while others never seem to flower?
So it probably depends a lot on the site conditions and the type of hydrangea. Now, certain hydrangeas, we see these limelights, these Annabelles, they have the big white creamy blooms and they bloom like crazy. They're going to be easy to grow. Now, certain hydrangeas like the macrophylla type, this is the old-fashioned florist type, that they're either blue or red depending on the acidity of the soil. They're very, very finicky. And if you don't have enough sunlight for some of them, they get leggy, they don't bloom enough, or some varieties are meant to be in the shade, like oak leaf hydrangeas. That's a shade hydrangea. And if you've got it in full sun, it's not going to bloom as much. So typically it's the type of hydrangea, knowing where to put it, whether it be sun or shade, and then the type of hydrangeas, whether it's an easy one to grow or a hard one. So if you're looking for an easy hydrangea to grow, the panicle type hydrangea, panicle type or arborescens type, those are two really easy ones to grow. And if you got shade, the oak leaf ones are easy to grow. But if you have an old-fashioned garden with the macrophylla types, there are a lot of challenges that go along with that.
Another good question we had, and I've wondered about this too, are coffee grounds truly good to mix into the soil, or is this just some scheme that coffee companies use to sell coffee grounds?
I will tell you this. I use my coffee grounds in my compost bin every single day.
Really?
So there's nothing wrong with it. Now, if you just have coffee grounds, they have some acidity to them. They can lower your pH. It would take a whole heck of a lot of them. But coffee grounds are wonderful soil amendments. They're all natural organic materials. The microfungi in that soil break them down. And it's a perfect brown material. So in compost, you have green vegetative material, kitchen vegetable scraps, and then you need brown material to help balance out those microbes. And using the coffee grounds is a great brown source of material for compost, or just adding it directly into your soil.
But mix it into the soil.
Mix it into the soil or mix it in with your compost. Don't just have a 5-gallon bucket of coffee grounds and try to grow in it. You're going to struggle.
Yeah.
But there is nothing wrong with using them, and I use them myself. They're wonderful.
And they still smell good, too.
They smell like coffee.
Another question we had, let's see. I like this one. What's one of the most common gardening myths that you would like to see disappear?
Oh, goodness gracious.
There's a lot in
There's
Tennessee.
so many. Let me think of the most common one. Eggshells, for example, or copper rods. Let me just go on this copper rod deal. They call it grounding. So I get these people that say, well, I put copper rods next to every one of my plants, and these plants do better than those plants. And I just look at them and I say, okay, that's fine. That's wonderful. But scientifically, there's no evidence that would support that, right? Or they use eggshells, but they don't grind them up enough, right? Yeah. Or Epsom salt, all these home remedies. If you don't do it right, all of them can work, but they're not necessarily done right on the homeowner side. Or a lot of these home remedy type sprays that they use, people will use, they'll make their own insecticidal soap with just traditional soaps that you get over the counter. Well, the soap that you buy at the garden center, insecticidal soap, it is a different type of soap altogether. So you'll get a lot of these things on the internet, mix up clove oil and peppermint, and you'll not have any bugs. Yeah. That's crazy. The other one is marigolds. Now, I love a marigold. I'm a sucker for them. I have them in all my gardens. They're beautiful. But people have always heard that, well, if you plant marigolds, all of the bugs will go on the marigolds and they won't touch your vegetable plants. Nay, not true. Absolutely no statistical evidence to support that. At UT, we pride ourselves on research-based information. And I'm here to tell you, we've done the research. We can tell you it's not necessarily going to help or hurt anything, but it's going to look pretty in your garden.
Yeah.
But some people are just adamant. Oh, I planted marigolds and sprayed peppermint oil on my plants, and I didn't see a bug. And I say, well, you didn't look hard enough. They were there.
Hey, copper's expensive today.
Yeah, it is.
Can you imagine lining your garden with copper?
Couldn't imagine.
Might as well put gold down there.
Right.
Another question. Should homeowners leave grass clippings on the lawn after mowing, or should or should I get a bagger?
Well, you could do both. So, allowing those grass clippings to break down naturally in the lawn is a great slow release source of nutrients, and it also helps add, as those grass clippings break down, they turn into organic tissue, organic matter, which helps stabilize your soil and improve the structure. Now, the downside is if you have a lot of grass clippings, they develop what's called a thatch layer. And you may have seen this in your lawn where you peel back the live grass and you just see this thick mat of previous cuttings, right? And that can actually inhibit moisture from actually permeating into the soil. It actually becomes hydrophobic, which means it repels water. So even though you may be watering your lawn profusely, that layer of thatch inhibits that water from getting into the soil. So typically, you can use a dethatcher once a year. It's this little device that cuts little slits in the thatch and helps rake it up. Or just go out there with a hard rake. And really what you want to do is monitor that thatch layer. Look at that soil. If you've got an inch thick layer of impermeable thatch, you need to maybe bag your clippings for a little while and use a dethatcher. But as a general practice, typically it's a great thing to do.
Justin Stefanski with us today from the Agriculture Extension Service, and we're out of time, but tomorrow you've got the Farmers Market beginning at 7 a.m.
Yes,
then
sir.
all of August, you've got Tuesday evenings and Friday mornings.
You got it. Absolutely. Come by and see us.
Well, thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you, sir. Always a pleasure.